and welcome in lead hitting coach Eric Theisen. Eric, how are you, man? Thanks for the time.
All good here, Tim. Tommy, thanks for having me, fellas.
Yeah, you got it. So congrats on the promotion here, lead hitting coach. I know you guys work in a group to get the job done, but what do you do here for the winter? Where you at? You trapped in a wintry nightmare like us?
Oh, sure. I'm down in Arizona, so not to rub it in, but the 70s you were just talking about, that's where we're sitting. I'm originally from Michigan, though, so I know the pain.
Okay, you get it. All right, so there were some moves on the coaching staff here, and a lot of people over the years, Eric, I've been doing post-game show for 21 years now, and grew up a huge Brewers fan and love the team. Anybody affiliated with it, anybody in a Brewers uniform. So one of the questions that has come up so many times over the years is, what exactly does a hitting coach do? Because a lot of times you look at football, look at the DCs and OCs that are getting rocked, and hitting coaches have been known to, have some successes and failures. But that's the question I've asked, guys from Butch Weiniger to Darnell Coles and a lot of these former Brewer hitting coaches. What do you do on a regular basis?
Yeah, I think the question is what don't we do? There's a reason that the hitting staffs in the major leagues have continued to grow and add more and more people to the mix. That gives you more perspective, more ideas, more hands on deck. Sometimes we call it hitting therapy. Really, I think the best way to sum it up is the guys that we have, they're the best of the best, and they know themselves better than anyone. And our jobs are just to try and make sure that they are in a place every day to be the best version of themselves every day, whether that's at the plate or, mentally, emotionally. That's our job, is to make sure that they're able to be the best version of themselves every day, and really try and grab the consistency that having a good season through and through requires.
Eric, I want to ask just how you get into the hitting coaching game before we dive into what you're doing with the Brewers a little bit now. You play a little college ball, you try to make a run in pro ball. Who's some people that gave you some advice to get into coaching? How much did you want to just get into coaching eventually with your baseball career? And then give us a little bit of maybe your path to how you ended up to lead hitting coach of the Milwaukee Brewers.
All right. Well, I grew up in a dugout. I was getting my diaper changed in a dugout. My dad was a college coach. So it's really the only thing I've ever known, really the only job I've ever had, whether it was player or a coach. Playing career ended, and it was a natural transition. Started in college ball, ended up being able to work with my dad. My dad and I ran the college program, Division II, in Michigan for 8 years, and Brewers snagged me in 21. A-ball hitting coach in 21, and assistant hitting coordinator for the next 3 years. And then obviously Nashville was a stop before joining Milwaukee in last season, and obviously now. So I've had such great mentors and guidance throughout my entire life in general, but coaching career, no doubt, from college ball, from my dad, from college ball, minor league ball, and then as an assistant coordinator all the way to this day. There's tons of people in the org and tons of people in my life that I lean on regularly for a balanced perspective and guidance.
Yeah, it sounds to me like you're a baseball rat. That's for sure. There's no doubt. Brewers lead hitting coach Eric Theisen joining us here on Hot Stove Weekly. So, Eric, explain to some Brewer fans what those conversations are like. For example, I mean, a couple of years ago, and again, I love the Brewers, don't get me wrong, but sometimes I get frustrated as a fan. And I will say, I mentioned this to Pat Murphy, and he did not like it. He gave me a lot of grief about it. We ought to change Christian Yelich's number to 4-3 because it's a rollover every time he gets up there. So when you notice certain hitters getting too much on their front foot, rolling over on things, and it's just a 4-3 out a Sal Frelick or a Christian Yelich. What is that conversation sort of like? Do you just and it's not like they don't know they're doing it, because obviously they're experiencing it, but how does that conversation work?
No doubt. That's something that eats us all up, right? And nobody more than the player himself. That conversation it's endless. It's every day. There's really not a day that goes by that these guys don't come back and feel like there's something that they can improve on. But I think that conversation really just starts with digging into what the components of that outcome are. Like, is it happening because we're out front? Is it happening because we're late? Is it happening on fastballs? Is it happening on off speed? Is it maybe the last week or two, it's been all the above? What's causing this, right? Is it something that us as hitters are doing, or is it something maybe in the environment, something contextually that's changing something? Is it the game state, the base runner state, how they're being attacked, more in zone or more out of zone? There's just so many layers to it. And so without making it too complicated, we just have to start with what are the pieces that are causing us to miss? And then we can go to, all right, are they present in our practice? And if those pieces aren't present in the practice, then now we have an avenue to really attack head on what's giving us an issue.
Well, and Eric, you say the line there, not make it too complicated. How can you say that with the growth of analytics in this game? It feels like that there's a new one every day that people are learning. And I don't know if you started and the analytic game was just beginning, but speak of that, like, and how much it's just grown to be a part of your daily life and learning about, launch angle and trying to correct exit velocities and whatever else that you might use on a daily basis of when you first got into baseball and now how it's evolved into your coaching career and how crucial it really is to your job.
Yeah, there's certainly no end to the amount of information that's available to us. And part of being successful is being able to compartmentalize that and to be able to really understand it, but not make it the end all be all. The thing is everything that's being measured, nothing new is happening, right? The game has been able to put numbers and start to measure things that players, coaches, scouts have been talking about forever. So there's no new factors involved here other than that we can actually measure some of these things. And really the space for that is in diagnosing, is in the diagnostics. It's in what are the pieces to what's happening. It doesn't necessarily need to all be put into the plan moving forward and what to do about it. And so that's where I think the separation is important.
I would also add, Eric, that sometimes a slump's just a slump, and there's really not, you got to hit your way out of a slump is what you do. And if you overthink it, maybe it makes things worse, or maybe you just need to take a breather. No BP today. Take a break. We're going to bring you in off the bench a little bit later in the game. You can just sit and watch. And I think that has been known to work as well. So Eric, Murph said about Bryce Terang, he's going to take a quantum leap offensively. And boy, did he ever. It was just dynamite. I think the ball was getting a little bit deeper in the zone for him. He was looking oppo the other way more times than not. I loved it, and we all loved it. We're going to put the crystal ball in front of you, and you've been around these guys for a few years. Who might, and we're not going to hold you to this, but who might have a little bit of that advancement to where we say, ooh, yeah, he took a step, whether it's, Ortiz or Durbin or whoever it might be. Anybody come to mind?
Yeah. I truthfully feel like every one of these guys has the ability to take a step.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, all of them.
About specific guys, yeah, no doubt. And don't we all want that, right?
Absolutely.
But Ortiz comes to mind, no doubt. I think the underlying components of his year last year weren't they were better than what what the year ended up for him on the surface. Contreras obviously is a guy who struggled through some injury last year and still had a great year, but we know there's more in there. Churio, as he continues to mature and get older and have some more reps and plate appearances under his belt and learn how to navigate the league. Terang, I think, even still has some more in there in terms of rounding everything out and becoming a complete hitter. I think we really did see the real Vaughn last year, and I think there's more in there as well as he continues to get comfortable. Durbin is very much, in my opinion, an everyday offensive third baseman, and he still has some maturity and some familiarity to lean on coming back again. And so it's really it's an exciting lineup, especially with as many of them that are returning as we have.
Brewers lead hitting coach Eric Theisen joining us here, Hot Stove Weekly. Tommy Wirtz, Tim Allen along too. Eric, I wanted to ask you, like looking back at last season, this Brewers baseball team had an identity, right? And it was about the approach as opposed to the result, right? Tough at bats, get the ball in play, and then let's make some action happen on the base paths when they do that. Well, ultimately it led to not a whole lot of balls going over the wall, right? And I want to know if it's something that last year you were harping on, that just keep doing what's working, or if it was something that it was a constant battle to try to find something, to find a home run swing. We saw it with Terang in the second half of the year and Andrew Vaughn when he came over from Chicago. Like, what was going into the approach last season when you were trying to get the results on the field, and ultimately it led to 97 wins and an NLCS berth?
Yeah, look, you hit it on the head. We control the zone with the best of them, and honestly, we score runs with the best of them. And that's the whole reason. That's the purpose of a home run. That's the purpose of 3 base hits and a walk. That's the purpose of offense, is to score runs. And we were able to do that. And that's part of 162, hopefully more game season that you have, is being able to find all the different ways to score runs. We do have some guys with some pop, and we do have the ability to put the ball over the fence, but realistically, those are going to happen on mistakes. And so we want to be ready and on time to impact the mistakes that we're given. And when we're not given those, we still, like you said, we want to make it as hard as possible on the guy on the mound to get us out and to keep us off the bases, because when we do continue to keep the line moving, get guys on the bases, and put pressure on the defense, we've proven that we've been able to score runs in multiple different ways. And so, that's the name of the game, is scoring runs and outscoring your opponent. And we just want to make sure that we can impact the mistakes that we're given and hit them harder and more often.
And just to follow up on that then, Eric, how much of that is it you look at the roster before the season and you determine a plan of what would be successful down the line versus, all right, we got to change something because all of a sudden come the end of May, you guys really figure it out at the plate and you guys are as hot as a pistol. Like, was this something that was always the plan, or is it constantly adapting with the personnel on the roster?
Yeah, it's, you got to adapt, and the plan is to be the best version of ourselves as an entire team, as an entire offense, as we can, and each of these individual guys, regardless of what that means. But there's adjustments that need to happen day to day, week to week, and throughout the entire season. That's the game, right? That's life. And that's, if you know your strengths and you know who you are, you spoke to identity. We know who we are. We know our identity. We can lean on those while also, lean on those in the short term while also think about and talk about and work on how we can improve this and score even more runs in the long term.
Eric, I'm a Cub hater, so I'll just admit that right out of the chute. And I know years ago, A lot of infield singles would just incense me. I would go, they're the most lucky guys in the world. Well, now that the Brewers lead the league the last few years in infield singles, oh, that's the way to play baseball. I love that. So I love the approach of getting it in play instead of acquiescing to somebody's made up thing that says you must hit home runs to win in baseball. And I never agreed with that. To your point, Eric, keep the ball in play, keep the line moving. I love it. So let's find out a little bit about you. You grew up in Michigan, and so what era? So I didn't even look up how old you were to prep for this. How old are you?
I'm 41, born in 85.
Okay, so what was your era? You grew up. Take us back to the 10-year-old baseball card holding Eric Theisen. Who was your team? Who were your guys?
I grew up a Tigers fan. I grew up a Siena Heights University fan. My dad was the head coach there for a long time, and I grew up going to the old Tiger Stadium and watching Alan Trammell and Lou Whitaker and Curtis Pride and Cecil Fielder and those guys and Pudge Rodriguez. And so, that's my era right there. So,
and then you graduated to the Tony Clark, Bobby Higginson era?
For sure.
Okay. All right. And you're down in Arizona. How are you in proximity to Murph in Arizona?
Oh no, the off season. Come on. We spend enough time together during the year, you know. I'm going to stay at home.
Okay. So working with him, and I know just from, interviewing him and we text back and forth and that whole deal. He can be a tough dude to figure out. I'm telling you. And I talked to some of your players about him, and it's sometimes you don't know if he's kidding or not. It's like you have to delay for a second and then say, "Oh, okay, yeah, that was funny," but you didn't know if he was serious. Is he like that with you guys too?
That's pretty fair. Somebody told me one time the key to Murph is figuring out when he's serious and when he's joking. And if you can nail the 10% of time that he's serious, then you're going to be all right.
Man. All right. Well, listen, Eric, it's great talking to you. I can't wait for the season to get going. I can't wait for the Brewers to continue to score runs because you're right. That's what it's all about. And quite frankly, from the fans' perspective, and maybe you can give some insight on the way out here about the fans, it is a really exciting brand of baseball to where, it might be a little chopper on the right side, but there's no way the defense has a chance for a double play. And then before long, you get in the second baseman's mind, and he's late to first. Now you got two on, nobody out, when it could have been a double play. It's a really exciting brand of baseball. The fans love it. What do you think of the fans here in Milwaukee?
It's really cool during games. So often it seems like the fans, the stadium can feel it about to happen before it starts to come to fruition, and you can really feel it, and you start to look around and go, all right, something's coming. And there's no doubt in my mind that that little extra bit of energy in the house makes a big difference.
Tommy, Eric, real quick, the 3,100 guys for the Milwaukee Brewers in the 26 championship season. I'm saying Christian Yelich. Tommy, who you got?
We need this out of Terang now. If he's taking quantum leaps every
30?
year,
come on.
Yeah, why not? Why not? Churio, hey, can you talk a little bit about Jake Bauers before? Sparky would give me such a hard time if I didn't bring up this guy. But
president of the Jake Bauers fan club.
I just love
watching.
Waiting
for him to come up.
Yes, yes. Eric, he every
not
time
to be overlooked.
Yes, every time in the postseason, the guy just shows up, man. And sometimes he's having his best days when the team isn't having it, but he keeps coming back on year contracts for a reason, Eric.
That guy finds a way to have his best day just about every day. I'll tell you what, he is. He's ready and just as consistent as any guy that we have in terms of, how he comes in, the energy he brings, the way he goes about his business, the way he prepares for games. That guy he's a huge piece.
All right, we'll let you go, Eric Theisen, not Eric Theisen. How many times you get that, Eric? A lot?
Enough.
Okay. All right. Well, enjoy the rest of your off season. You're going to be headed to the complex there, American Family Fields of Phoenix, in just a few weeks. But Eric, we'll introduce ourselves when we see you in Arizona. Okay.
Thanks, Eric.
That'd be great. Appreciate you guys.